Hello, guys, and welcome to another Fox Weekly Thoughts. And of course, the typical five shows are back. You got The Simpsons, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, Bless the Hearts, and The Great North. So, I don't want to waste any time. Let's get started. And we're starting with The Simpsons and do Pizzabots' Dream of Electric Guitars. This one sees Homer try to reunite a band of robots from a pizza parlor after telling his family the story of his first job. And this one's surprisingly pretty good. Even though fans were pretty upset from some continuity thing, but Matt Selman made a tweet earlier this week that said nothing is really canon in the Simpsons universe, and I'm honestly down to believe that because how this show is designed. The Simpsons is a sitcom, so everything in The Simpsons is really a quote-unquote what-if situation. And this week doesn't do anything different than what Matt Selman, stated. It's a good one. And it's not because Mike Price wrote it, because, I dig F is for Family. It's a great Netflix original. And Mike Price is big on flashbacks on F is for Family, so I like that they use them here in The Simpsons too, because, it fits with his style of writing. The entire flashback scene is a good backstory, showing how Homer started his love for the pizza robots. It doesn't waste any time getting to the main point once the flashback ends. It takes almost the entire first act. I like the montage of Homer doing silly stuff that Moe and Marge pointed out. Moe coming in was just random, and I had to laugh, although his insert in the episode was kind of random, because other than that, he doesn't really do anything. I like when Lisa and Bart went into the production building and Lisa started speaking like she was cool. I definitely dig that. The only thing I didn't really care for in this episode was the plot twist. It just felt a little weird and out of place. Like J.J. Abrams just takes the pizza robots away. He doesn't ask or offer Homer any money for them. I just felt like there could have been a better way to execute it. And then, but I like the ending to the episode. It was kind of amazing when Homer's like, "I hate you, Dad," when he was hugging him. I also like seeing the band back together at the end, and Homer eating the dispensable yogurt from one of the robots. I mean, his dream kind of did come true, didn't it? He wanted them together, even though they're in a different place. I haven't been too fond of recent Simpsons, but this one's easily one of my favorites this season. It's funny, the story structure is nice, and it kept me interested a lot. Many people are upset that it broke continuity, but you wouldn't be too upset if you liked the Simpsons, would you? I know a lot of people put hate on modern Simpsons for doing this kind of stuff, but I still think the modern years are pretty enjoyable. I just feel like you should just sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. It's pretty good. Next up, we have Family Guys and the Marrying Kind. This one sees Stewie order a mail-in bride from Ukraine after realizing that marriage could be so wonderful, when he's one of the audience members at Mort's wedding. And on the side, after visiting New Orleans for Mort's wedding, Peter and Chris get addicted to breakfast buffets at hotels. This one isn't actually that bad. This season, if you watched all my other reviews, I don't speak positive about Family Guy anymore. And, this one actually was not bad. It was a lot better than I expected it to be. The setup was pretty nice. I didn't care too much for the song, but the rest of it was nice. The wedding joke took a little bit too long though. That was kind of annoying. I did like this. I did like how it split between the two plots. As for the subplot, I did like seeing Chris and Peter splurge at the free breakfast buffets. I didn't dig the last part though, as Chris goes to jail for 15 years just for stealing food. It was kind of dumb. And then Peter has to kill guards just so he can eat breakfast with him. Honestly, it just feels off to me. I don't know why. A lot of the jokes just don't work. Like the agent killing the two Finnish men, that's just stupid. And the squirrel next to the very redundant hotel sign. You have a double whammy, basically. You got one dumb joke, and then you have another one. So, none of that stuff has ever been funny. They never did this in the earlier years of the show. I'm not sure why the writers continue to add that stuff in. It's not funny. And if we're going to the A plot, the Stewie plot was pretty good until I didn't like how they had Brian bang the wife. Because, it has him revolve around that single character trait of him liking to bang girls. It's not even remotely interesting anymore. It used to be somewhat interesting, but nowadays it's like, okay, I'm gonna expect that's gonna happen. Oh, it did. Yeah, the compromise by the end is nice, but the wife then decides to leave Stewie, so it's not really a compromise. I enjoyed seeing Stewie work at the Enterprise, even though those Levi calls took too long. The cutaways don't really work here either. Like, one of them was about Peter trying to get into a kid's party, and that wasn't funny. There was probably another one I don't remember. I probably forgot it even happened. One joke that I did like, though, it wasn't a cutaway, but I liked it, was Meg yelling at Lois that she understood what she said, and then she broke her plate while they were eating breakfast. I think that was probably my favorite joke in the episode. This episode was a lot better than I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be downright awful, but it wasn't so bad. I liked how well structured the two plots were. I think the only problem with this one is it lacks laughs, but it's not a bad time. I think you might be alright with it. Next up, we have Bob's Burgers and Mr. Lonely Farts. And this episode sees Gene, of course, being left home alone after Bob and Linda go to do different things, and they think that the latter has Gene with them. And Bob, Louise, and Teddy go to buy a new vent for Bob's kitchen, and Linda and Tina go to get new shoes, and they leave Gene at home. This sort of take on Home Alone turns out to be pretty solid. I don't think this episode was quite as good as last week's, but it's pretty good. I was quite worried that this episode would focus a lot on Gene, like way too much, because I find many of the recent Gene episodes, like All That Gene, A Mommy Boy, Diary of a Poopy Kid, like I find all the recent Gene episodes to be not less enjoyable than the others. They're not bad, they're just not as good for this show's standards. And I think this episode focuses on Gene dislikes being home alone way too much. It didn't even start to get interesting until he locked himself in the basement. Like, once he locked himself in the basement, I think that's when it really excels. Because, the rest of it is just, oh, he's running around. Oh, he's home alone. It's not really that interesting. Although I did like he was like holding all his spoons. I thought that was pretty funny. I read someone else's comments on Reddit, and they said like Gene would be like someone who enjoyed being home alone and running around the house, frolicking around. I did like his weird conversations with his imaginary friend Ken, and I did dig his song. Bob's plot was pretty short, but it was enjoyable. I liked seeing Bob and Teddy together, and this is no exception. Louise has some good sassy jokes. I liked how Louise and Teddy stole kitchen utensils. The jokes about people on the internet being murderers was pretty funny because, that's what we all think nowadays, right? When you're selling stuff on Facebook or Craigslist, you think everyone's going to be a murderer. This plot was pretty fun. It was a little bit too short. I wish they didn't focus on Gene that much and focus a little more on this. Linda and Tina getting shoes was pretty enjoyable. The store seemed very accurate, even to the point of showing the beat up boxes, the dirty floors, and the poor lighting, and even, the kids that don't want to try on shoes. Like, there was that one kid who was screaming because they didn't want to try on a shoe. That happens way too often at a lot of shoe stores. Seeing them pretend to be different people in the shoes while Linda and Tina tried them on was kind of amusing, and then when they offered to help the store employee clean up the mess, they even walked away with a small discount, which was pretty cool. This episode was pretty good. Again, the only problem with it was how much they leaned into how much Gene dislikes being home alone. It didn't really get interesting until he locks himself in the basement. But that being said, it was pretty good. I think you'll enjoy it. Next up, we have Bless the Harts and Trolling with the Homie. This one sees Betty get a job at the Last Supper after Jenny and Wayne pressure her into getting a job after doing nothing in the house. And on the side, Violet and David try to add a third friend to their group Although he, then he starts adding more friends, and then he exceeds them in popularity. And, this show continues with another fun episodes. I found a lot of it to be enjoyable. I think, well, while I've read a lot of, critic reviews online and how they don't think it's that good, I honestly would disagree with them, because I think this show has become more consistent, even though it's kind of reusing the Jenny and Betty thing. I think that it's still enjoyable, because there's only 2 seasons of it. It's not like, okay, we're on season 30 of Bless the Hearts and they're doing another Jenny and Betty one, but it's still more interesting than Marriage Crisis from The Simpsons, because those things have been going on way too long, and episodes like the 7-Beer Itch make me wonder, how did these episodes even get approved? They barely have any effort in them and stuff like that. But this is only season 2, so. But I would really be sad to see the show go. It's probably gonna be over. I don't think it's getting season 3. If it does get a season 3, it'll probably be somewhere else. It's definitely not gonna be on the Fox network. Hopefully someone else picks it up. I'll watch it wherever it is. Yeah, and the main plot again was similar to last week's, with their feud being the main highlight. I enjoyed seeing Betty being silly and suggestive at her job, while also sucking at it as well. I like seeing Wayne and Jenny spend date night. A lot of the episodes, besides Megalo Memories 2, haven't really focused too much on their romantic life this season, so I thought that was pretty cool to see. I liked Wayne's complex Yale personality, and his story was dramatic in a hilarious way. I'm thinking Wayne even might be suicidal, because his fake persona was suicidal, and then he claims his job was the only thing keeping him from killing himself, which is kind of weird. Maybe he's joking, maybe he's not. There's probably something we don't know about him yet. But this is why I think the show could benefit with another season at least, because then they could probably dig more into that. But I don't decide whether this show gets another season or not. So what happens. Now I'm surprised Betty has a bunch of trucker contacts in her diary, and she still can't hang out with people her age. That was kind of the only inconsistency I didn't care for, because she's hanging out alone in the senior center when she could be hanging out with the truckers who are her age. It's kind of weird. It just didn't make any sense to me. Maybe to hit home on that point that Jenny needs Betty in her life, but I honestly don't know, to be honest. Does she really need her? I mean, they live at home. They don't always have to be together, that kind of thing. But one thing that I do like about Betty now is the writers seem to know what they want to do with her character now. Betty's character is very obnoxious. It's very silly. It's very, she's crazy and insane sometimes. Another person that I watch on YouTube said that the writers were trying a little too hard with her in the first season. And now that her behaviors come off more natural, with season 1 in Trash Twins, she doesn't start this until she gets attacked first. But with the dog turned cannon from last week, okay, first she parks in the ambulance bay, and then she gets a ticket, and then when she goes to Mayor Webb, she's like, does everyone have to drive an ambulance now? It's like her craziness is more natural. It's not as forced. I like that she's also willing to take the first shot. She's not waiting until someone bites first before she's willing to attack. I think that's one of the things that they've improved with their character. While a lot of people might disagree, Betty's character is meant to be like that. So you can't, say that this character is obnoxious when that's kind of the point of her character. King of the Hill didn't have these obnoxious characters, but Bless the Hearts doesn't need to be King of the Hill 2.0. So what I don't understand is how people don't find the show like King of the Hill when it's not supposed to be. I think that's one of the criticisms of Betty and this show in general that I can't really take seriously, because it doesn't need to be King of the Hill 2.0. And in Bless the Hearts, what makes this show different from other current sitcoms is Betty realizes that she needs conflict with Jenny, to keep things fun and entertaining. But, they still love each other no matter what, even though they think the other is annoying. They need this to keep their life fun and interesting. Betty, you know, the reason why Betty is such a good character is because, you know, she always manages to make things fun and interesting. You know, if she didn't do any of these things, she'd be boring. And, you know, I'm pretty sure they'd get bored too. So they need this kind of conflict. It's not like the other shows like Bob's Burgers or The Simpsons where they don't need this conflict to, you know, be interesting. You know, The Simpsons and Bob's Burgers have their own different quirks. And, you know, this show does too. And, you know, the subplot of this one was pretty good. I like seeing the two friends trying to get there and recruit another friend. You know, Parker proved that he doesn't need Violet and David, and, you know, I guess that was fine. But I did like seeing the change from David and Violet being his superior to him being theirs. You know, it's like kind of that thing where you don't treat your friends like junk because, you know, then they might overpower you, and, you know, it's gonna bite you in the butt, you know, that kind of thing. You know, trying to make Betty happy by making it a family night. I did enjoy the family night thing, how they're all like calling stuff out while watching TV. I tend to do that a lot, so you know, I could kind of relate, and it was nice seeing all of them do it. I think you'll enjoy this one. It's pretty fast paced. It's funny, definitely. It's probably one of the funnier ones in this season. Even though a lot of people would disagree, I'd say it's one of the better ones this season. So yeah, those are my thoughts on these 4 shows. I know I said I was going to cover the Great North, but now I decided that I want to do a separate video for that because, you know, what I have to say about it is way too long for this video. Plus, I think if I do it separately, I feel like it'll probably get more traction because I definitely have a lot to talk about. So stay tuned for that video. But anyways, let me know what you think about these 4 at least, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.